My sister bragged, "I'm getting the house, and you get nothing." So I asked Dad to tell the truth. My sister Jenna stood up at Thanksgiving like she was giving a toast. She said, "Mom and Dad are signing the house to me." Then she smiled and added, "Emily gets nothing." People cheered. Someone yelled, "About time!" My mom dabbed her eyes like this was a happy moment. I kept smiling because I already knew what that gift really was. "Dad," I said, "should I tell them, or will you?" The whole room went quiet. My dad's fork slipped from his hand and clinked on the plate. Jenna's face tightened. "Tell us what?" 6 months earlier, my parents called me over and said they needed my signature. "We're refinancing the house," my dad said, sliding a folder toward me. "Just a quick sign," he added, already tapping the pen on the paper. Something felt off, so I took the folder to my lawyer. She called the next morning and said, "Do not sign this. It wasn't a refinance. It was a transfer of liability." She told me, "If you sign, you're responsible for their loans. Even if they promise they'll pay," she said. "The bank can still come after you." They had a second mortgage. They were months behind. One paper said they could lose the house if they didn't pay. There were fees piling up every day they waited. I drove back to my parents' place and asked why they lied. My dad frowned and said, "Stop acting like a lawyer. We're family." My mom said, "If you loved us, you'd help us." I told them I wasn't signing anything. My dad's face went hard. He snapped, "So you want us to lose everything?" My mom kept repeating, "We're just trying to keep the house." 2 months later, my dad called and asked me for money. He said it was for my mom's medical bills. I said, "Tell me the hospital and I'll pay them directly." "It's not just that," he admitted. "The bank's calling every day," he said. "We're running out of time." Then the truth spilled out. Missed payments, past due notices, a second loan they forgot to mention. They weren't trying to give Jenna the house. They were trying to hand someone the debt. And when I didn't take the bait, they moved on to her. A week before Thanksgiving, my mom called, gushing about how excited Jenna was. "She'll host more often once things are settled with the house," she said. That night, I pulled the property records and printed everything I could find. I found the balance, the dates, and the notices that said "final" in bold. I put it all in a folder and brought it with me. Back at the table, Jenna crossed her arms. "You're jealous," she snapped. "My parents would never hide something like that from me." I opened my folder and laid the papers in the middle of the table. "Before you celebrate," I said, "read what you're actually getting." My dad reached for the folder. "Emily not here." "Why not here?" I asked. "You tried to trick me first." Jenna's voice jumped. "What debt?" "2 mortgages," I said. "Months behind. They're close to losing the house." Jenna laughed once, sharp and nervous. "That's not true." I tapped a bank notice tied to the draft paperwork. "This says the payments are overdue," I said. "This says the fees are stacking." My aunt leaned forward. "Daniel, is this true?" My dad didn't answer. My mom stared at the tablecloth like it could save her. That silence was the answer. Jenna blinked fast. She asked, "So, you've been handling it?" My dad finally said, "We were going to take care of it." Brody, Jenna's fiancé, shifted back in his chair. "You told me the house was paid off," he said. Jenna grabbed his arm. "Brody, wait." He pulled away and looked at my parents. "You all knew?" Nobody said a word. Brody stood up so hard his chair scraped the floor. "I'm not marrying into this," he said, and he walked out past the turkey. The room gasped. Jenna's legs gave out and she dropped into her chair. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. "I didn't know," she whispered. My dad slammed his palm on the table. "You ruined everything!" I met his eyes. "No, you ruined it when you tried to dump your debt on your kids." Right then, someone knocked hard on the front door. A woman in a plain suit stepped in with a badge clipped to her belt. "Mr. and Mrs. Nolan, I need to speak with you about your mortgage records," she said. We all watched as she held out a card and asked for the folder. "Someone reported possible financial misconduct," she said. "I have questions." My mom started sobbing. "Emily, tell her you misunderstood, please." I didn't move. The investigator took the documents, and nobody at the table could even pretend to eat. Now my family is saying I ruined Thanksgiving. Was I really wrong?